Howdy y'all, welcome to Sam's Whiskey Bar. I am Mr. Sam and I have 6 Blue Note samples from Blue Note. Usually when you do a single barrel pick, you get 3 samples to choose from. Not with Blue Note. I got 3 ryes and 3 bourbons. Stick around and see which one I like.
I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. Everything I do so instinctive and so passionate.
Welcome back, thanks for sticking around guys. So this is kind of a process of going through a single barrel pick. Usually it'll come in a box with 3 samples. Looks like this. However, in this situation, they gave us ryes. I think there's 3 ryes. I got them labeled 1 through 6. They were already labeled 1 through 4 because Roy at Egbert Liquor here in Hutchinson, Kansas has already gone through, picked out his favorite 4, gave them to me to go through and verify or tell him what I like. Now he can still order whatever the hell he wants. He's the store owner. But I appreciate, Roy, that you appreciate and trust my palate. Thank you very much for letting me do this. This is in order from Roy, his first, second, third, and 4th place. Then he did not even have these placed. This is a Blue Note uncut bourbon at 114.7. Then I put a number 5 on the bottle. I'm going to pour them in glasses. I have labeled 1 on the bottom, 1 through 6. I'm going to put them all in here. I'm going to mix them up, and then I'm going to go through and rate them. I think his number 2 is my number 1. I've already gone through them knowing what they are. I think his number 2 is my number 1, but in order to do it fairly, I've got to not know what I'm drinking at all. I got to put all these together, mix them up, and truly blind them, and that's what I'm getting ready to do. Oh, here's a little redneck ingenuity. So how do you fill up a glass exactly correctly so you can't tell, ooh, I put a little more in that one, I know what that is? Well, I have a Heaven Hill stave here off of a barrel top. I like to set it up on this custom built Sam's Whiskey Bar bar top that I spent a whopping $10 building. This way I can get them really close to where I can't tell. I can't cheat, basically. So I'm gonna fill them up just to the line on the bottom of this wood, using the wood as a marker. That's the sound of the man pouring all the bourbon in his glass. Oh, that's the sound of the man. Oh, perfect. Holy crap, I can't believe I got that right. Okay, now I just gotta mix them up. So I'm just gonna spend some time mixing these up. Look, I'm so stupid. I don't know what glass is what already, okay? All right, there we go. No idea what's what. I'm gonna go through and nose them all, and then I will change the rank of them based solely on the nose. And it's gonna be hard because Blue Note just is usually pretty good on the nose. Nosed them, let me verify. Okay, so I've got them ranked on the nose in order this way. Now I will rank them on the palate this way. What's that mean? That means if they're far back closer to me, they are not a good, they are a lower score. If I move one up forward, that's a higher score. So like for instance, this would be first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth. That is a good first smell, and I think it's a rye. I think the one I put in first is a rye, and it has a wonderful nose. Wow, that back end got a little better that second time going through it compared to my first time. Okay, so now the fun part, we get to drink them, and this always is like, do I just go in order after the nose? I thought that one was the best. Do I start there and then work through? Or do I start in the back at the worst? And I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, I'm starting in the back. I'm going to go through and I'm going to smell them again because like I just said, can't be too thorough. Because those two are pretty interchangeable right there. I'm going to leave them right there. To me, these three nose really similar. For being last place on the nose, that is very stellar on the palate. Very stellar. I think I got an old contact stuck here. It's been hitting this label, sticking to the label on the bottom side of my cup. Yep. Got an old contact stuck to the, my goodness. I bet that was a fun night. Dang, this one almost smells like a weeder. That one's pretty good. So far, that is the best one I have tried. I like that one. I like them all, don't get me wrong. That one just stands out from the pack a little bit. Just doesn't come through on the more oak influence. Definitely more oak influence. But based on the nose, I thought that would be better than this. It is not. It's more in line with the first ones I went and had. Now, I'm going to clean my palate because I'm going to the one that I like the nose the best, and I try to trust my nose. There are those whiskeys, bourbons, scotches, ryes, Irishes, Canadians that all smell wonderful on the nose, and you put them on your palate and you're like, something happened between my nose and my mouth. They're not agreeing. So let's see if old number one agrees with my nose on the palate. I'm going to say these two are basically a tie for me because I think this is a bourbon. I think this is a rye. So even though those are my two favorite, and I'm pretty sure this is a bourbon and this is a rye. And that's just going through it one time. I'm surprised this one, so nice on the nose, kind of fell back so quick. Let's go through one more time because, I mean, I got this whiskey. I might as well drink a little more of it. I feel like that's a rye as well. I feel that, I think that was glass, the second in my lineup, nosing lineup. I better not screw this up. It's decent. This one's decent. 4 on the nose, back of the pack on the palate. Boy, that smelled good. I I got some bourbon brown sugar sweets on that smell. God, did I mess it up? Might have messed it up a little bit. I'm going to put that one definitely in front of this one. I'm going to put this one just a little bit ahead of that one. This one is definitely back. In the back. Based on the palate. I mean, it's still a good pour, guys. It's just the little idiosyncrasies that you get used to wanting when you drink a whiskey. I need to clean my palate. Gosh. I need to do that every time in between. Have not been doing that, especially since these are so freaking close. I think these two are bourbons. And they're at the back of the pack. That means all three ryes that I tasted are... Am I a rye guy? I think I might be a rye guy. Man, how a palate changes. Scotch is coming up next, y'all. Actually, I'm enjoying some finished rums. Finished in oak rums. They taste so much like bourbon. It is dumbfounding to me. The correct ones, done well. Okay. So I can definitely put these two in back. This one actually has a little bit better nose, so I'm going to move it forward a little bit. All right, I'm going to step up to the next level. I've kind of decided those are my two dogs in the race, even though they're a good freaking pour. I think those two are ryes. I think those two are bourbons. That means we got a bourbon and a rye up here, and I felt like I thought this was a rye and this was a bourbon. Stellar bourbon. This is a stellar bourbon. It's got all the sweets. It's got the mouthfeel. It's got the tannins. It's got a little bit of ride through the palate. It's finishing well. It's got that sweet. I'm still getting heat on my mouth, which I really enjoy as a high proof whiskey drinker. Or higher proof than 100 anyways. God, I have a feeling I know how this is going to go. Yeah. Yep. Let's see how we did here. I've got my last place right here. It was number 5, so that means Roy had this in last too because he didn't put a number on his. This is a Blue Note Bourbon, 114.7 proof. Okay. I'll just go ahead and put that one with it. These two are so close, I kind of want to go back to this and make sure I got last place right, but who cares? These two are interchangeable. These last two are interchangeable. I'm going to bet this was one that he didn't write a number on too, which means that would be number 6 since this was number 5, since I wrote the 5 and 6 on the samples. It is 6. Hell yeah. Roy, I appreciate your palate, sir. Roy, I appreciate your palate. That is why I come to your store and I buy your store picks without me even being involved, because you and Danny and all the rest of the guys, wonderful palates. Wonderful palate. Like you've been doing this a long time or something. Number 6, a bourbon. I'm pretty sure I called that a bourbon. I'm pretty sure I called the bottom two a bourbon. I thought they were bourbons, and they are bourbons. And they are also the bottom two from Mr. Roy. God, that... It warms my heart, guys. It just really, really warms my heart. Holy crap. Okay, well, let's see as we get up closer to what he had 1, 2, 3, and 4 marked. Now that we got 5 and 6 that he didn't mark, that I marked 5 and 6 out of the road, we're just going to go ahead and eliminate these guys. Both bourbons, by the way. That means all 3 ryes are in here. So we have 3 ryes and a bourbon left here. So this was my 4th place. This was my 3rd place. This was my 2nd place. And this, by just a hair, was my 1st place over this one. However, on a day where I want a bourbon instead of a rye, this might have won. I'm not saying I want a rye right now. I'm trying to figure it out in between these ear holes because I don't know what I want. I know what I like. I don't know what I want. This is a different go right here. This is important to me. I don't want to F it up. Okay. Absolutely, I have it in the right order based on the nose. This one, however, could possibly move right here on the nose. That's a rye. That is a good rye. That is a high proof, really good rye right here. Whatever this is a higher proof, really freaking good rye. I might look like a dumbass here in a second, but we'll find out. This is a rye as well. Better nose than this one. This palate was freaking amazing. Yeah. So it started really, really sweet and light. And I thought it was just going to be a good tasting sweet. And then the tannins hit, the wood hit, the rye hit. I think that's a rye, but it didn't, the first part of that palate, and I don't mean just a short snap, I mean like a 5 count was super, and then the tannins hit. I really, really like this one. I kind of like the ride it takes you on. I enjoy the ride. I know I'm not clearing my palate now, but I kind of know what I got in front of me. Wow. The nose on this is phenomenal with sweets and oaks and earths and age. I don't know how old these are, but I would guess somewhere around 6 years old. Wow, that is a good... This is the bourbon. Guys, this is the freaking bourbon right here. It's good. It doesn't have the thickness and the sweetness along with the heat, I think, to beat number 1, which I believe is a rye. It's a good bourbon. Don't get me wrong, but way better than the other 2 bourbons in this flight. As we know, the other 2 bourbons are out. Holy crap. A rye should not smell like this. It's a rye, obviously, on the nose, but there are sweet caramel candy notes. There's no mint. It's rye spice. It's like the correct rye note. For me. You do you, I'm gonna do me. This is not overly minty, no spearmint, just a perfect little rye spice that would almost fool you into thinking that it is a high rye bourbon. I'm gonna say, okay, let's do this. This is my number 1, right? I think this is a rye, and this is my favorite drink out of this flight. The rye spice is there on the palate. The sweet is there. The rye is there. However, if I was in the mood for a bourbon, this is the one I would choose, which I would say is right around the same proof, maybe just a touch less, maybe just a touch less. Let's go ahead and see what we got here. I really hope that my number 4 isn't Roy's choice, but I think Roy picked a bourbon. I think this is Roy's choice right here. 4. Number 4. Hell yeah. That is a rye, 124.3 proof. Did I say this was a higher proof rye? I think I might have said this was a higher proof rye. We're going to move number 4 out. Okay. Brass tacks. Top 3. Top 3, baby. Yeah, I probably should have had dinner before I did this. All right, here's where rubber meets the road. Let's move this third place glass out of this video. I don't even remember. This was my number 2 on the nose. I remember that. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh. I could smell this all day. They should make a scratch and sniff sticker out of this bad boy right here. Oh my goodness, it's a rye, but a sweet confectionery sugar rye without mint, but you know it's a rye. It's a one-note rye. The first taste was the same as the middle of the palate, which was the same as the back end, which is the same as the finish. I mean, it's just all good, don't get me wrong, but it's... And if that's your thing, maybe number 3! Roy's number 3. My number 3. Hey, Roy. I think we're going to be wrong on 1 and 2, though, bud. Blue Note Rye, 113.9. Comes down to it. And I typically can tell the difference between a bourbon and a rye. And I know Roy picked the bourbon as his number 1, and I'm quite sure I picked the rye at number 1. So Roy, I'm sorry, I might disagree with you on this one. If I was to buy one of the 2 barrels, I am so confident to say that I think I would pick the rye, because I'm quite sure I did. I hope I'm wrong. No, I don't. I hope I'm right. But if I am wrong, humble pie coming my way. I think this is Roy's number 1 from Egbert Liquor in Hutchinson, Kansas. Yep. That is a high rye bourbon that is better than the other 2 bourbons, but not great. Not great. It's a good bourbon. I think he judged it on the finish because it's still finishing. Great nose. I think this was 3rd in my nosing. Fucking great nose. Kind of wish I wouldn't have drank it all right there. I got a little sip. I would bet a large sum of money that that is a bourbon and Roy's number 1. That is Mr. Roy's number 1, a bourbon coming in at 118.2 proof from Blue Note, uncut. I'm sorry, Roy, we don't agree. However, I think that the rye that I picked as 1 was your number 2. I know it's a rye now that I saw that one. This is his second pick. It was a rye. It was 119. I'm looking at the bottles right now and I just realized his bourbon is 118.2. His rye that was number 2 is 119.2. I am happy with my choice. This is an absolute banger, coming in at 119.2 proof. This Blue Note rye is my number one by a large step from Roy's number one. A large step. I would say that this rye right here, if I had the opportunity to buy this barrel and I had the means to do so, I might buy this barrel and keep it for myself because this sucker is good. It beat a freaking bourbon, y'all. Wow. Oh my goodness. Roy, how did you not pick this at number one? Maybe I'm a rye guy. Maybe I'm a rye guy. But to me, you're number one getting left in the smoke by this rye. Gosh dang it, I'm a rye guy. Y'all catch me next time.